네, 잠시 안내 말씀드리겠습니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a few minutes we will start the session 2. So please come inside the hall and take a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna start the session 2. So please come inside the hall and take a seat.
네, 다시 한번 안내 말씀드리겠습니다.
In a few minutes from 3:35 we're gonna start the second session. So please come inside the hall and take a seat.
네, 감사합니다. 이제 두 번째 세션.
Thank you. Now we're gonna start the session number 2. It's been a bit too late, so I'm gonna introduce the moderator. She is one of my favorite speakers, and Ms. Jung-im, CEO, Busan, Gyeongnam region of News One. She started her career as a writer for radio show Starry Night and served in the journalism for around 30 years. And she won the 19th Best Producer Award from Korea Broadcasting and a lot of awards as well. And now she's serving as the CEO of Busan and Gyeongnam region of News One and Director of Busan International Youth Film Festival Education, columnist for Women's Sense, and the committee member of the other women's services. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you for the introduction. Can I take out the microphone? I've been working a lot in the entertainment business, so I want to take it out. And I realized that we have these 2 years, and it's really feel great because you might feel very itchy because you have been wearing the masks too much. So hello, I am the CEO of the Busan Gyeongnam News One. I'm CEO, and we deliver the international news with the Reuters, and we have like 16 original offices, and we transmit this news, the fastest news in Korea. So the session that our moderator is the work-life balance and about life and how women can really take the balance between the life and work, and how they can really do it well. So we have 2 presenters and 2 panelists. So from home and abroad, the first presenter.
Well, sometimes, if you mispronounce their name, it can be a big mistake. So I confirmed again and again. So the first speaker is Joanna Doornewaard, the Dutch ambassador to Korea. She became the ambassador to Korea from August 2019, and before that she served the position in Poland and Mexico, and also Sri Lanka, covering the Maldives as well. And she is very much interested in the gender equality and climate change. So I would like to listen to her insight and great opinions on this matter. And work-life balance is well achieved in the Netherlands. It ranked the first out of the 35 OECD member countries as well in terms of the work-life balance index, and Korea ranked the least. So how the Netherlands became the first best country for work-life balance. So please watch the video clip first to understand this. Why? Or are we playing the video clip when the ambassador comes up to the stage, or are we playing the video now? Probably the video clip's not ready yet.
네, 영상 보셨고요. 예,
Thank you. So that's the video clip that I talked about. And now I'm going to invite the ambassador onto the stage.
네, 다시 한번 요하노 도르네바르
So once again, we are now inviting the ambassador, Joanna Doornewaard, to the stage. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
I'm also. 안녕하세요. 감사합니다. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a big pleasure to be here and to talk to you about a subject that is really close to my heart, although there are many other topics as well that I love to talk about, but this time I will talk about gender and our work-life balance in the Netherlands, as I was asked to. So it's a big pleasure to talk here at the Global Conference for Women in Maritime Sector. It's a great opportunity, and I love to share my countries, but also my personal experiences in this field. Let me just start the presentation. Here we go. I've been for the last 2 years here in living in Korea. Posting of an ambassador is usually 4 years, so I'm halfway. It's a very strange period to be an ambassador, I must say, for everybody. But in COVID times, we usually try to network and travel and all that, and that's a little bit limited right now. Here you have a picture of the Netherlands on both sides. We are very small. We are in Western Europe. We share a lot in common with Korea. We are both very strong seafaring nations. I mean, you might know some Koreans indeed about Hendrik Hamel, a couple of 100 years ago, already washed ashore here in Korea. But as a matter of fact, we share right now 60 years bilateral relations officially with Korea. We wanted to celebrate that with a lot of events, but also due to COVID, we had to do a lot of online events. But lately, like last week, we opened a big exhibition on surrealism in Seoul, so some things at least can happen. As I mentioned, we have a lot in common. Our size, we are much smaller than Korea, but we have a lot in common. Also, we are both very, we have a strong maritime sector, but we are also both very innovative. There's a lot of exchange going on. For us, Korea is the second largest export market here in Asia after China. So Korea for us is more important than Japan. And that's mainly because of the semiconductor. But maritime, also very important. So I was asked to talk about work-life balance. You saw the movie. Here, apparently, I didn't even know that. I mean, I had to be invited for this conference to know that we were on top of this list. But apparently, we have a very good work-life balance. And here you see the countries that apparently have that, and you see that mainly European countries. And what do we have in common? Well, here are some pictures of the Netherlands. We really like to spend time together. So life is not only working, it should be also enjoying life with your family, with your friends. And we have a lot of bad weather, but we still like to go outside. So here you see a few facts that the OECD investigated. We spend very little time in the offices. I mean, we don't have long working days. We're not even allowed to stay that long in the office. And that was pre-COVID times already the case. Here in Korea, I noticed 10 o'clock in Seoul City, a lot of lights are still on. People are still there in the office. In the Netherlands, you are supposed to go home, spend time with your family. So here you have some figures. The other thing is that to be able to do that, to be able to work like that and to have an economy that also produces things so that you can support yourself and the economy, to have also leisure time, it's very important to share the burden. We share the task at home to take care of the family. It's about equality. It's about having a partner that allows you to grow as well, that he takes indeed parental leave, or that you do it together, that you both work part-time. And in that sense, you can both enjoy and share your work responsibilities. So the burden should not be on only one person in a household. But that has, I mean, it was not always like that. That has grown. I mean, in the 80s, you can see here, women in employment, that was still very low. Right now, it's over 70%. And that's mainly because a lot of Dutch women work part-time. I think one of the previous speakers already mentioned, in the office, it's possible for women to work part-time. And that, in that sense, when they have a family, they still can continue working, keeping that feeling, having their own work and their own colleagues. And then when they can work full-time again, when the children are going to school later on, the step is not that big again to go back into working life. So for a certain period to work part-time and then go back in the office again full-time later. And I mean, there are a lot of facilities in the Netherlands to do that. The other thing is that a very strong sense of community that's mentioned here. Indeed, I mean, looking back on my life, having 2 children, I'm both working, you have a daycare center, but the moment that your child has a fever, you cannot take the child to the daycare center, so you need family, you need friends who step in for you, who can stay, or you need a helper who steps in. And having a double income, so we decided, okay, one income would be indeed for the children to take care of, so that we could both grow, still have the majority of our time spent with the children, but it would cost money to take properly care of the children the moment that they're sick or whatever, and you still have to go to your office. Here are some facts and figures. It looks like in Europe, like we already have concluded, or that we have achieved what we wanted to achieve, and that's not the case. I will give you some examples that even foreign affairs in the Netherlands, being a female ambassador, we really have to support each other. When we have our annual conference, going back to The Hague from worldwide, and we are right now 25% of us is female, we come together before the conference actually starts to say, okay, we have to support each other. Because those men, our male colleagues, they step forward, they take the floor, they take the microphone the moment that our minister asks questions, or our Secretary General has something important to say, or we are with the king, because I mean, that's all part of the annual ambassadors conference. And we said, okay, we have to be heard, we have to step forward, we have to support each other. We have to make sure that our voices are heard as well. So we are still not there yet. We still have to support each other, and that is one of the lessons I think I would like to share with you. And still, at high level, I mean, we still lack people, or still lack women at the executive board. I mean, this conference was about maritime. The figures were already mentioned. In the Netherlands right now, we have 21% in the Dutch maritime sector. And that's okay, but I mean, it's not good enough yet. So that's still work in progress. So I just want to say a few words about diversity, how important it is to have a diverse team. It has been proven right now scientifically that your organization having women in the boards or on the boards, that it really contributes to a better atmosphere, to more sustainable, less clashes, for a very good performance. So more and more right now companies realize that, and to have indeed female or women on their boards. But it's difficult. We have right now in the Netherlands, we have these recruiters to try to find promising women, to have them ready the moment that there's somewhere a vacancy. But it's still hard, although there's more and more are available, but we're still not there yet. And this is what diversity brings. So, I mean, I focus right now on gender, but it's also about disabled persons. It's people from other nationalities. It's LGBT community. Really, it's very important to have a very diverse team. They really bring in different points of view, and for your company, for your organization, it's very healthy to have these other points of view and to try to take that forward from there. Because society is also like that. We are not monotone composed. So to have people from society in your board, in your organization, really helps to take it forward. So as I mentioned, I mean, it looks like we are there, but we are not there yet. And there's one of the things that I wanted to show you here, this as an example, because we really are biased. We have started a program in the Netherlands or in Europe about breaking stereotypes. It's a program that starts at primary school when a child is like 6 or 7 years old. And the teacher asks, okay, let's have some fun today. Let's draw your favorite pilot or captain or policeman or whatever. And the children start drawing. And then she said, okay, he says, okay, let's give the person a name. And perhaps he or she should wear a cap or whatever. And they draw these persons, and then the teacher asks, wouldn't it be nice if this person would visit our classroom? And the children really yell, yes, 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 let's have the person in the classroom. And then they come in. And then the pilot comes in, the surgeon comes in. And then they take off their helmets, they take off their scarf, and they're all female. And you should see the faces of those children. Because they thought, okay, they were talking about this fireman and of course this pilot. Like that should be male. No, it should not. I mean, you have dreams, you could be a pilot as a female. So it's really trying to break stereotypes, the perception that you have that a certain job should be for females and another job should be for males. No. So it's really about equality, and really to set already in an early stage that also the girls can dream about a technical job. They could be that engineer. And later on, we have programs for secondary schools when students make a choice what kind of study they want to do. And we have big companies that need engineers like Shell, all those technical, also in the maritime sector, that invite those students, especially the females, please come over. Look what kind of exciting environment we have. And when you do a study in that field, we would love to have you be part of our company. And that really, because the moment then that girl decides for a study, she has that in mind. Okay, it doesn't need to be like administration or a nurse or whatever. No, I could be that engineer. I could be that architect. I could be on that crane in the harbor. So to make the world open to them and to really break stereotypes and offer the possibilities, it's so important. So here's, I mean, you might have seen that before, what we could do to create those possibilities for the to help our females, our partners, to continue work. Because, I mean, I also gave another speech on women in the digital world. You would think, okay, that's a very nice way of combining caring job at home and being also at your computer. And some of the many women are very good in computing. And then they end up in this company, and they're one of the first females in that company. And figures show that they drop out. When they're in their 30s, they drop out because it's such a male environment and they don't feel supported. So right now we see, well, in Europe, we try to organize like networking for those women in the digital environment to support each other. Because otherwise they drop out. They think, okay, it's too difficult to hear every day those kind of, the bullying, this remarks that you don't want to hear every day of your male colleagues. So it's so important to support each other and to have a network like that. So we really started also in Europe to start that, to support each other, to make those women who are amazingly good at that, to keep them and to have them continue working in a digital environment. And I could imagine that could be also in the maritime sector or other very technical sectors that you are male dominated. And these are, it's one of my last slides that we can't blame men for inequality. We're both in it together. We are biased ourselves. You read perhaps that story. You think also, okay, that surgeon is the head and the mother would be in the accident. No, it's the other way around. That surgeon was the mother. To break the stereotypes that I mentioned, that program that we have. Important to have role models, to have that successful female leader in a technical profession, to have them talk at schools to show. But then also I think a very important one is to teach your children. Because your daughter perhaps wants to be also that female leader in a technical job. She wants to be that CEO perhaps. Or your son. It's all about equality. So they both have to have the opportunities to grow up equally, to have both the opportunities to work, to do the work that they would love, to have a partner who will be equal and to share the job. And I think it's very important that the mothers teach their children the equality. I think it's a very important thing to think about when you are with your children. And that cooking is not only for the female, it could be also his turn to do the dishes or to cook. Then, it's not a women's issue, it's a shared responsibility. To join each other. Women suffer, I think you can see sometimes there's some kind of competition or there's a lot of talk behind each other's back. We really have to support each other. Always try to speak positively about that other woman. We really have to support each other to grow. I think that's also an important lesson. And then my last takeaway for this work-life balance, that's a lesson that I learned during my career. I had a coach who said, okay, you will grow in your career and you will be a lot of pressure. A lot of people will ask for you, do this, do that, and you want to prove that you can do it. And time is only 24 hours a day. And you want to spend time with your family as well. We said, okay, it's very important that in that week you have a time for yourself. Choose what you like. You want to be on a choir, you play the guitar, you like your sports, and defend that time in the week. It's for you. And whatever is going to happen, whatever is people who ask you, okay, can you do this? That time you have to defend, because that's your lifeline. It's for you. I just want to give you that. I think that for me, that was a very valuable advice. Because, the children, your partner, your work, everybody will ask something, but try to keep something that's you and defend it through your career. That's my tip for your future. I think that's about it. Let me see. These are the programs that we have. Sports, technical jobs, a female very, it's also, it's 50% of our workforce is female. We better make use of them and train them. and facilitate that they can participate. So that's gender equality. Let's go for that. And I also want to remind you, I mean, we have the 2 weeks of Orange the World. I don't know if that has come through to Busan as well. It's fighting gender-based violence. We are very active right now in Seoul, and worldwide we have a lot of actions. That's also to stand up for each other and help each other. So thank you so much for your attention, and I'm very willing to answer questions later on. Thank you.
네.
Thank you very much. Your last comment was very impactful and impressive. I often think about why I'm working. It's not just for money, and I really want to work for myself. So you have to think about how much you are really thinking about that. And as a mother, well, you may also retire. So I think that's a good presentation. Now let me introduce the next presenter. She couldn't make it today, but we have this video presentation. So let me introduce her. She is the Saudi Federation archery coach, Shahrazad Lukanic, coach for the female team. She was the CEO of the ATC company and the head of the Complementary medicine practitioner at IMC Hospital. And after that, after 10 years of serving in the national team of Allie International, she's now an archery coach for Saudi Arabian international or national team. So Shahrazad Lukani, the coach, will talk about the balance between work and life balance. So we're gonna watch her video.
Between work and family. Good morning from Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia, to my beloved Busan. It is pure pleasure and honor to be invited to your first global conference for women in maritime secretariat. My late father, grandfather, and 7 generations down the line will be proud of my participation, as I come from a long line of captains of transatlantic ships and marine engineers who built them. Being a mother of 5, wife and grandmother, balancing career and family life is most challenging task, as time is of essence. Day has 24 hours, they said, but at times I feel it's just like a blink. With so little time to spare during the day, I search for suitable solution which will give me chance to relax, chance to work out and socialize in the same time. Our religion recommended that we teach our children archery, swimming, and horseback riding. After practicing swimming and horseback riding for years, I started with archery. Practicing archery and teaching others became most joyful part of the day. Furthermore, I want to mention that scientists have proven that archery is top rehabilitation sport. It promotes various things: stress relieving and relaxing, increase focus, improve confidence, improves and promotes strength building, increase patience, improves hand-eye coordination. It's a social sport, and almost anybody can start it regardless of their fitness level. We highly recommend it to a very busy mothers, women, and students in order to take a stress from multitasking assignments and constant deadline pressure commitments. I personally promote be master of your own target, as your archery target can help you achieve more and assist you in reaching your personal goals, whatever they might be. We have philosophy with our arrows. We concentrate and focus on each one, like we do with our life goals, which we set for ourselves. Once the arrow reaches the target, it becomes fast, or accomplished goal, no matter of its outcome. Then we reposition ourselves, adjust our sights in order to improve the outcome for the next one. Like we do in our life, with our life goals in order to reach our dream. We live in a present moment, the moment in which our arrow is ready to be launched, like a chance for new opportunity and a chance to make our target, chance to reach our goals in better way, whatever our target might be, enjoying the effect of now. As an example, in our team, we have players who recovered from major brain surgeries. We have cancer survivors, students with various disorders like ADHD, dyslexia, shy children who with time build up their confidence in they improve social skills. We have students who aim to improve their concentration. We also have skillful surgeons and businesswomen in high positions, all who come and join our practice with a reason to leave being more recharged and energized. They all agree upon one interesting detail, and that is that they leave the archery field more uplifted, happy, and accomplished. Personally, I recover from double brain stroke caused by diving accidents. While drowning in my own sea of overwhelming difficulties, like learning the basics of walking, talking, breathing on my own, I was searching a way I can safely reach the surface and swim on my own again. Archery was like my submarine, helping me to transport me from the deepest of the deepest dark sea back to the safety of the surface. During the very beginnings of my training, my body was literally everywhere except where I wanted to be. I was like an orchestra where every instrument was playing different tune. I didn't have ability to see the target except as a blurry blob on the end of the shooting range. Determination, physical and mental archery training improved my coordination and helped me to achieve my perfect symphony. Something that I find remarkably interesting when I started to play and train archery was a change in my breathing patterns. The way I was breathing was completely different rhythm. It was connected to dynamic of whole movement of my body. I somehow softened the breathing while sharpening my focus. It's very sensational feeling when you start to talk to your body while you are training archery. As you know, this very, very ancient skill, world round, brings certain amount of spirituality as well. I found down underneath that archery helped me to visualize many things I could have achieved if I had been introduced to it earlier in my life, precisely in my childhood. That's the main reason that I introduced my youngest children to archery, as to avoid the main problem which is going to face us, as that is a problem of no schools during pandemics. We started to train a bit more than usual, as I could see that the structure of the day with archery affected our life to have more structure as well. Thanks to the noble sport, we were fulfilled in the term of our togetherness and having lots of fun in the same time. Here in Riyadh, in one of our leading rehabilitation facilities, we already applied archery as a therapy for inpatients and for the staff, in order to relieve the stress and pain, and for facilitators to recharge their positive energy towards their patients. During the last Archery World Cup in Yunkyung, Our female team was stationed in the same camp as your national team. It was like we stayed with family. We hope when this global crisis passes, we will be able to travel more freely and meet you again in Busan. Thank you.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you so much. So you were working like a big orchestra, so that was really a insightful comment. And listening to these two speakers, I am so looking forward to listening to our panelists. So let me introduce to you the panelists of the session. The first panelist is Jawon, President of Korea Venture Business Women's Association and the President of Busan Chapter. She worked in Samhwa Trading for 14 years and also done the same job for AMS for many years, and based on that experience, in 2006 she founded Bogo Trading, which is still in operation. And Bogo Trading is importing and exporting shipbuilding equipment, engine components, and plant-related materials. And she is active in the mice industry as well, finding new marketplaces. And she is here us in the room, and she's going to come up to the stage very soon. And the next panelist is the Yunkyung, System Completion Certification Process Lead of Tengizchevroil. She completed computer engineering at Jawon Tech University, and she also studied Chinese literature in Shanghai. She has been working with Chevron for many years, and she's done a lot of projects in Korea, China, and Kazakhstan. And the previous speaker, Dr. Shahrazad Lukanic, would not be able to attend this panelist discussion due to some personal occasions. But we are going to have the speaker ambassador for the panelist discussion as well. So please welcome the moderator, speaker, and panelist with a big round of applause.
정말 빨리.
Yes, it was quite quick coming up to the stage. So I can see you have a lot of things to say on the stage because you made it very quick to the stage. So in the maritime industry in Korea, we have a very long history and we have a great panelists and speakers. So it's a really great pleasure for me to moderate the session. And today we are talking about the work-life balance. So, well, to the three ladies, I'd like to ask a common question. According to the social survey published by the Statistics Korea, the respondents who said that both work and life are important, it's about 50%. So the ratio is getting higher. People want to work, and I guess you have diverse experiences of working in different countries. So what are the other countries' trend in terms of the work-life balance? Can you share your observations quickly based on your experiences? Can you share your experiences? We're gonna start. Okay, you're gonna go first.
Hello, I am Jawon Kim, President of Korea Venture Business Women's Association, Busan. I am running a trading company, and again, I'm Kim Jawon. Well, I don't know, I'm so nervous to be up here. Well, why don't we give her a big round of applause? Thank you. So 90% of our export products go to Japan. So I have a great understanding in the Japanese society. And I know that young people in Japan also values work-life balance greatly as well. Okay, thank you. And Ms. Jung?
Hello, good afternoon. I work in the oil and gas industry as an engineer for 13 years. I'm Yunkyung. Well, work-life balance, it's not just about the Korean issue, and people around the world also pursue the work and life balance in the US or the Netherlands, as the ambassador just described, the Western European countries with great deal of the economic development, or the MZ generation or the younger generation really put a higher value on the work-life balance.
대사님 아까도 말씀.
And next, Ambassador. Well, you had a presentation earlier, and seeing Korean women, well, do you have any comments on their work-life balance compared to your country? Do you think things are not really easy for Korean women here?
너무 빨리 대답이 나왔어요.
No, I can confirm that. I mean, I can see but everywhere, like you mentioned, in other countries as well, everybody is trying to cope. But when I started here, I also had a talk with the female employees in my embassy, talking to them, young mothers, how they try to combine. And I mean, then to my amazement, okay, but where's your husband? I mean, and then to realize that he is not into cooking, and he's not into picking up the children, and he's not into, how can you choose such a man, no? But okay, that's I mean, everybody makes its choices. But I can see the struggle here, because there's a lot of pressure on Korean women to have the children. There's a lot of competition for the children to go to the one university, to have the best education. And it's also, as a society, what you do to each other, no? But it's very difficult to break that cycle, I think. So, but I can see the challenge, and it's not only Korea, and it's, as I mentioned, it's also in the Netherlands. And yeah, support each other and talk about it. That's already, I think, one part of the solution.
왠지 조금 마음이
Well, I feel better now. Well, I don't know why, but I guess that this is a common issue of the global community, so we have to work together and support each other to find a solution. And again, I have a question to Ms. Kim Jawon again. So you have long been in the field of Korea women's venture industry. So based on your experience, what kind of comment can you provide for our audience today? Well, if you look at the women venture companies and small and medium companies in Korea, I believe that they are always short on money. Well, that's the issue for me as well. At first, I thought that working hard will solve all the problems. However, that's not true. We need some partnership with other agencies, and we need to get some support and help from other agencies. And those supports can greatly benefit your companies, and I'm getting a lot of help for my company too. And working with the Korea Business Women's Venture Association, I learned that I have to share my energy with others so that more female workers and female CEOs can find new opportunities and create new things together and share them with one another. So I am learning from them too. So I think that this Korea Venture Business Women's Association is a great benefit for me too. I believe that you do have a lot of challenges as well. I know that the association is doing a great job, but you must have some challenges that you have to tackle as well. Well, because we are women, I think that women business people are asked by many that, why are you here? Don't you need to go home and take care of your child? Also, I think how others view these female business leaders, we need to change that. So, well, I do believe that we have to change our mindset first. We don't have to set limits for ourselves. We have to believe that male and female can do the same thing. If we have that firm belief, we can do anything. So I guess that things are progressing though, because earlier in the past, many women were asked by people like, oh, your husband might not have the job so that you're working now. So, well, I guess the things are progressing at least. And I also know that you are the expert in the trade industry. So what is the work-life balance for those industry? Well, we don't have any balance actually in my field, I have to admit. Well, we didn't really have the term like work-life balance for the trade industry. Well, actually, I'm over 60 now. So that means that I've been working since like the 80s. So female workers had to work so hard in the past. So that means that they focused on working so much. So adopting the concept of work-life balance itself was a challenge for many female workers in my field, actually. And at the same time, people thought that maintaining good life with husband and family while working was impossible back then. However, we tried a lot, and I also tried to make some work-life balance culture in my company as well. I see. So now I think that we can have some small talk with Ms. Jung.
정윤경
So you're now taking it over. Maybe things are better for you as a younger generation. So as you work, you have been working for many capital projects, inshore and offshore. So you might have met a lot of women in the maritime industry. So is there something that was different? I mean, in terms of the number or the roles compared to the other sectors? What about their work-life balance? Well, the maritime or the heavy engineering industry, it's really hard work. So compared to the male, we have a lower percentage of women working in the field. However, the women, many leaders of the maritime industry were very professional, and they were very proud about what they do. And also they had very high positions in the company. And also, I was very inspired by them, and they were my mentor, and I also feel very proud. And even though we are women in the maritime industry, they still took the opportunity and they can realize their potential. So physically, it might be really hard. What about that? Because in the broadcasting and the TV network, we selected these whole camera engineers, and you have to carry these heavy cameras, and you have to work, and it's not really easy for women. So they didn't really recruit women camera engineers. So what about that? The physical, like the energy level. What about the maritime industry? Well, of course, yes, physically, I wouldn't say it's not hard, but I think the work-life balance, it's also about take care of your fitness and the physical energy. So many professional women also take care of their fitness and the physical energy as a professional. So they don't really have that kind of difficulty that much. Do you have kids? No, I'm not married. So if you have any children, well, maybe you should ask your mother or mother-in-law to take care of your kids. So what's your plan? Well, maybe I should outsource that to some childcare service company. Or maybe later, yeah, right, we have to develop such childcare services. Thank you for that.
And now I would like to have some talk with the ambassador here. You are from a different culture, but we do have some commonalities as well. So like we said, the Netherlands ranked the first in terms of work-life balance. But listening to you, we know that the Netherlands still needs to overcome some challenges to achieve true gender equality. So personally, do you think that there are some important things that you have to tackle for work-life balance? Well, from the economic perspective or policy-wise, any comment?
Policy-wise, because I mean, it really, what's very important is in Europe and also in the Netherlands, is that we have legislation that we are all equal. So you can fight if you feel like you're discriminated because you're a woman, or that you're fired because you are pregnant, or that they don't admit you because you might become pregnant. I mean, all these things right now, you can go to court, or we have all kind of institutions where you can complain and they take your statement seriously. So knowing right now in Korea, you are discussing the Non-Discrimination Act, and that's very wide, but I think it's so important to have such a legislation that states that everybody is equal. So that's one thing. And the other thing, it takes time. It takes time to get used to that, also with your parents-in-law, to convince them that you need your own career and that you want to be independent as well. Because our focus right now is really on financial independence. So that's why it's so important for the women to have a job, to have their own colleagues, that although it's perhaps only 2 days a week, but from there you can grow further. But to give them that independence, that they are not, because also we talked about these weeks about gender-based violence, and that especially right now in COVID times, it's such a big problem because everybody is sitting together in this one house and the temperatures get higher and arguments get stronger. But if you're more equal, if you have your own income, if you are independent, you don't have to accept everything that's being said. So we really focus on that right now, also policy, to make those women that they can work, perhaps not full-time, but really work. And in order to do that, you need facilities, daycare centers, they are being subsidized, a long period of parental care, a period of part-time working for the first 2 years after that you gave birth, or all these kind of facilities to help these women to grow in their own field. And so these kind of things really help. And to have examples, somebody that you look up to, from okay, that person did it. I mean, although she had children, or perhaps you don't need to have children, but you can make it in this male world. And sometimes I think we really have to do double our best to show that we can do it. I remember when I came here, I had people, okay, you're going to be a female ambassador in Korea? Netherlands must not be sure. They will not take you seriously in Korea because it's so male-oriented. And it's okay, I'll show them that I can prove that. They should take me seriously. So I mean, we have to fight. We have to show perhaps a little bit extra, but we have to be vocal and support each other. I think that's a very important one.
파이트란 단어 나오니까 갑자기 긴장.
네. Thank you. And I know that male and female are not competing with each other actually, but when it comes to work-life balance, sometimes we feel like that we have to fight with one another. Well, and actually, sometimes, we don't have exact working hours in Korea. So, well, for work-life balance, you said that we do have to set some examples and make some role models. So I believe that you can be a great mentor for the younger generation as well. So any advice as a mentor again then? Well, actually, and I would like to know more. I'd like to hear from Ms. Kim as well. Well, actually, I don't really have a clear understanding of work-life balance because personally I've focused on working so much. So for next generation, well, I'm not really sure I can give the advice. However, well, I would like to say that they have to have some specific schedules for their daily life, like lunchtime or some resting time. And I know that it's really hard to keep up with the all schedules as planned. However, if you make schedule for yourself, probably the result will be better. Well, it feels like that you are telling them you don't have to, you should not live like me. Right, exactly. Thank you. That's good advice, I think.
안 사실
So you don't want to live like that, right? No work-life balance. What do you think? Because you are the next generation. So maybe you feel bad about this senior women. Well, I'm not an MZ generation, so I can't really say that I have really separate like a work and life. And but in terms of the work and life balance, what I did to achieve the balance was, well, first you have to be strong in terms of the physical energy, because you can really play hard when you are energetic and physically strong. So this physical strength was one thing that I worked really hard. And the second thing that I worked for was, well, you have to really choose and concentrate. Well, in some area, if you want in the some field, you need to make some sacrifices, I would say, for a certain number of hours. By that I mean you first set your own priority, and depending on how much value you put on the priorities, you have to concentrate on those top priorities. That's what I did. So, Miss Jung, you are now taking a sabbatical, or is planning to? You are planning to sabbatical. So, how long do you think you will take the sabbatical leave? Well, not really preparing for or planning for the leave, but my mentor and I have my very great leader, and in my early 30s, the mentor has been telling me that you have to really plan for your retirement when I was like early 30s. So, well, the retirement was not my thing when I was early 30. So I didn't really feel the need and I didn't really take it seriously. But as time went by and as I watched people retiring and what happened to their families, well, I thought that I need to think about and plan for my post-retirement years. So I set up the plan. So, well, I decided to take the sabbatical, well, not from some age, but that's not it. But I decided to have some sabbatical in my 40s at some point. So I didn't have any ambitious, great, well detailed plan. But as we are living longer, like even 100 years, when I am like a 60s or 70s, I may not be healthy as I am today. So I will need to take some time to plan for the second chapter. So how long are you getting there? Well, my plan is to take 1 year of sabbatical. Well, but I want to clear my own bucket list and I want to do something for me. So she said that she maybe envy you. So when I was 44, I also took sabbatical for 1 year. And during this 1 year of break, I really enjoyed every moment of it. And I went to New York. And on the first day, there was no one who was calling me. But I was really enjoying this whole moment. I am away from all things. I don't need to wear makeup. And no one is really recognizing me. And no one is calling me. It was not lonely, but I felt very liberated. So after that 1 year, I could really work well. So, and like Miss Kim, or in your generation, it could not be something that was imaginable. So that's really changing the world for the younger generation. So with the limited time, I mean, I think I need to ask the last question for each one of you. So first to Miss Kim, let me ask the question.
So I saw that you were the participant at the Co-Marine and you were introducing your products. So I know that you are closely working with the shipping industry. So in order to increase the female worker in the shipping industry, what kind of culture do we need? I know that it's not easy, but any comment or advice? We provide some goods for the shipbuilders. However, I don't have a very clear understanding of the shipping industry. However, based on my experience and research, I can see that female workers in the shipping industry needs to take some challenges. A first issue is that many female students do not really have interest in the shipping industry. And the reason they don't have interest in the field is that they have no knowledge about that. So I believe that promoting the shipping industry can make a difference. Like when they are young, we have to let them know that the shipping industry can be a great area to work in. Particularly, Busan City is surrounded by the ocean. So, well, letting the children know what the shipping industry is and what maritime industry is, I think that it can be of great help. My daughter knows what ship is and what kind of components we need to make a ship. She knew about it when she was young. However, I know that other kids do not really have that kind of understanding. So I hope that we can educate our children more and more so that they don't build some bias on themselves. And I also hope that they can attend a lot of job fairs as well so that they can have a better understanding of various industries and occupations. So we have to lower the entry barriers so many people can easily access the industry and they can easily understand what the ship is and what the shipping industry is. Then I believe that many of them will be more interested in the field. That's a great comment. Thank you so much. And now my question goes to the ambassador again then. Well, here in Busan, we have Yeongdo Island, and we do have a lot of marine-related institution in the island. We have like 16 public agencies, and they're making a big complex, marine complex. And I know that the Netherlands has a lot of marine research institutes, including Marine and NIOZ. And these institutions are working hard to achieve a balanced ratio of male and female workers. So in order to reduce the number gap between these female and male workers, what kind of policies can we make? Any advice for our government?
Being a low-lying country with a third below sea level, so I mean, a lot of the work is related to water management, and also the institutes, like you mentioned, marine and all that. So there's already cooperation going on between the institutions here in Korea and the Netherlands to work on the research to have more women. I really like the idea that you mentioned, indeed, to involve already at a young generation, to open your institute or your sector for children. Work together with the schools, organize like an outing and show them in a safe way what it is, how exciting it is. And it could be also in a research institute. I mean, there's a lot of interesting stories to tell them, and having the researchers to tell them themselves how excited they are, what they're doing. So show children at a young age what is possible. And then, so that would be more to involve more female students in that sector. And then having to keep those researchers and female workers, indeed to facilitate working hours, making flexible hours possible, daycare center, all these kind of things that I think that would help also to have them participating. And then there's one tip that, I mean, we talked about role models. So also, I mean, to make the fathers to take up parental leave, because I know you have a legislation here as well that's possible to do that. But they don't do it because it might cost your career. We have the same in the Netherlands. So we decided within our ministries that our director generals, if they're fathers, they have to take a day off. They have to show, okay, tomorrow I'm not in the office because I'm going to be daddy day. I mean, only one day a week, but okay, he's going to be a daddy that day. And he just stops all his meetings, or he's going home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon because he has to pick up his children. To show managers, to show that to their workers, that helps, so that they know, okay, we can do that as well. And I can be a manager, whatever, and I can still pay attention to my family as well. So you need role models and to implement and show to the others. Thank you.
예, 저희 생각하고 좀 비슷한.
Well, I agree totally with your comment. And now I would like to give the question to Ms. Kim again.
같아요.
So, in the Korean society, especially in the maritime industry, to be an ambitious, successful woman, do you have any advice to make the changes in our society? We need this. Any thoughts, any ideas on this? Can you share your thoughts? Well, it's not about any particular field that we need to improve, but as a whole, across our society, we need to improve the work-life balance, and people need to change their mindsets. Well, for example, 52-hour work week mandated by the government, that's not what we need. Well, parental leave is something that you must take. So your boss or your colleagues have to respect your work-life balance. That's one thing that we need to have in the first place. Okay, thank you. So 3 panelists or the speaker, I think, made very consistent comments. In the science high school in Korea, a lot of male students go to the science high school, and less than 10% is the female or girl the students. So the science is for men and the other sectors are for women. I think we have this bias in Korea. So I think your inspiring comments and sharing of experiences will help us to make some changes in Korea. So that concludes the discussion. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think I also had a life full of work and no life, so that was also inspiring for me as well. So the work-life balance was the session 2, and Miss Yu and the panelists and the speakers, thank you very much. Please give them a little bit round of applause. So thank you very much, and we're gonna take 20-minute break, and we're gonna start the next session in 20 minutes. Thank you.